Hey guys, welcome back to another cybersecurity coffee time with me, Andrew. Yeah, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I get asked pretty frequently, or something that I think is a huge sentiment within cybersecurity, and that's, do I need to know programming or coding in order to be successful in cybersecurity? And to answer the question pretty bluntly, no, you don't. But if you want to be an all-encompassing or a well-rounded cybersecurity professional, I think the answer is yes, you do, right? So I know that's pretty contradictory from what I just said, but there's two different paths that you can go in cybersecurity, right? You can go the non-technical analyst route that then kind of leads to maybe an auditor or a CISO or something like that, upper management. Or you can go the technical route where you're a analyst to begin with again, right? But then you kind of show a lot of promise in the technical route or in the technical solutions route, and you become a cybersecurity engineer, or you become an AppSec engineer, or you become a SecOps team lead, right? These are all things that you need to know programming for. So I think that in order to give yourself the best kind of path that you can go within cybersecurity, you need to know programming. Now, in terms of actual programming languages and things that you might need to know, some basic ones that I would suggest, and that I suggest a lot to people that are just getting into cybersecurity, is Python and Bash. Right? You're not going to need to be proficient in these things, but you're going to need to know some basic scripting in different varieties. Right? So if you're an analyst, you're not going to need to know Python and Bash. You're not going to need to do these on a daily basis, but they might help automate some of your daily duties. Because a lot of times, and I don't think this is discussed very often in these actual videos or in cybersecurity in general, but your team is going to be small. Cybersecurity is not something that a lot of money is put into right now, right? Like the salaries are really, really great, but if you're at a huge software company, your cybersecurity team and mine specifically is 4 people, and we have over 200 developers or 200 software engineers. So the salaries and the team sizes are going to be a bit obscured in the route of software development, right? So you're going to have to be in charge of 4 or 5 different applications as a 4-man cybersecurity team, and that's going to lead to a lot of daily duties or a lot of daily process tasks that you're going to have to be involved with, and you're going to want to know how to automate them in even a basic manner, right? So if you have to look at a SIM dashboard every single day and you're going to have to scroll through and see all these vulnerabilities, what you could do is you could link up to the API, you could have the vulnerability sent straight to your email. A lot of SIM tools are going to have this already implemented in the actual SIM, but if they don't, you can have them kind of send the medium to high vulnerabilities to your email immediately, so you can kind of put more emphasis into other things in your day, right? So just for a small example, the other day I had to test an API, but I also had to do my daily vulnerability management tasks. So what I did was just automated a simple email to myself for medium or high vulnerabilities, so that way I don't have to go through and comb through all of the backlog to find those vulnerabilities, and I can go about testing that API, which is something I actually wanted to do. And the same goes for engineering, right? If you're a security engineer, you're going to have to be heavily involved in code. There's also basic duties that you're going to have to do that are process-based and they're not automation or code-based. So you're going to have to try to automate those to focus on the stuff that you really want to focus on more. And also, I think that if you're going to be something like an AppSec engineer, or you're going to be just a security engineer in general, you're going to have to be interfacing heavily with DevOps or product managers or product owners. You're going to have to know code so that you can speak intelligently and clearly about the issues that you think that you're going to see in the back end. If you go to a software engineer and you try to tell them best practices, but you've never actually done those best practices yourself in your own code, the likelihood that they're going to abide by those best practices and listen to you is kind of a lot smaller, right? I know that when people get in these companies, they see it as you're all equals, but in a technical company, if you're not technical, you're generally not going to be an equal in terms of telling people best practices to do in their code or even coding yourself, right? Because if you can't do it, you're essentially just going to be coming at the problem like an auditor. You're going to be telling them, hey, do this, but you're not going to know why to do that, or you're not going to know if that's feasible to do that. So I think that just a general rule of thumb is always have your foot in some kind of technical aspect, right? Whether it's after work or, even during work, you can automate specific tasks, but just a general rule of thumb is learn code. Do 30 minutes of code a day just to get yourself acclimated with that kind of atmosphere. And also, just in general, code is fun, right? You get to look at beautiful syntax, and there's a huge element of gamification when you're coding, and there's a lot of fulfillment that you get when you write code and it comes out correct. And not only fulfillment within yourself, but within your organization, right? People might come to you and look at you as more of a technical leader or a technical player in the actual organization. And that'll get you, for lack of a better term, cybersecurity clout. I hate that I just used that word, but it's really just something that you're going to have to try to earn within your organization. If you're just someone that's based on policy and telling people best practices, but not knowing why those best practices are best, then I think that will be a downfall in your career, right? So if I could give you one piece of advice over this video, and hope you guys really enjoyed this one, but learn code. Learn 30 minutes of Python a day. Learn 30 minutes of Bash a day. Study code, study best practices of the code, and then try to implement it yourself. I think that the best cybersecurity professionals are former developers or former software engineers. And I mean, again, that's just my opinion, but I hope it helps you some. Appreciate you guys being here today. Everyone have a good day. Stay safe.